it's happened before with Tom Izzo and one of his players last night in Michigan State's win. And you and I both understand it, but I don't know if everybody understands it. And that's his interaction with his own player where he gets
Gabe Brown
aggressive, right? As players, you understand. I played college ball at a lower level. You played at the highest level. And you're seeing it right now on the screen. It's just –
Well, let me describe the scenario for you real quick. So you have Malik Hall, who is guarding a UCLA player, the point guard, there's a screen coming, and Gabe Brown is guarding the screener, okay? Tom Izzo, during this run, says that you're supposed to trap, okay? So what you see is Gabe Brown comes out, and the Malik Hall actually gets over the screen, so there's no need to trap. And they give up a three right before the half. Now, Tom comes out to talk to Gabe Brown about it, and Gabe Brown rips his arm away from Tom and starts yelling at Tom. And then as they walk back into the locker room, you start seeing it fester because Tom starts to get animated. And that's I just want to give context to how the scenario happened so people understand how it got there.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. What led to it? But it's what led to it was player did something the coach didn't want him to do or didn't do something the coach wanted him to do. That's really as simple as that. It's the altercation, especially out on the court. It's physically grabbing a player, pointing at him, yelling at him, but then the player yelling back at him. It's just that altercation that I think is jarring to people who don't understand what goes on. This has happened before. This has happened before with Tom Izzo.
You know how disrespectful it is when your coach comes out and you didn't execute something in the scouting report and you turn your back on him after yelling at him and walk away from him instead of looking him in the eye and addressing him like a man? And I love this about Tom Izzo. There is an element of tough love with Tom Izzo. You know what, Alan? Life is tough. We both lived it. I've lived it. Life doesn't just cater to you. Hey, I'm sorry. Are you okay? Do you think somebody can? Do you want your hand held after I hit a utility pole going 70 miles an hour? No. You have to get yourself back up. And if you don't have people in your life that force you to address matters head on in a very professional-like way, engage with Tom Izzo right then and there. Look him in the eye. If you want to say your piece, how you say your piece also matters. You just don't turn your back. But there's trust there with Tom Izzo. Look, I've had a lot of experience in my life, one after we lost to UVA, where literally we're in the locker room and Coach K is coming at me. Now, I don't know what the hell I was thinking, Alan. I had a Will Ferrell old school moment. You know where he goes up to the podium and he just blacks out and he's like, what did I just say?
Yeah.
All I know is I said a ton of curse words to Coach K. I stood up, hitting my hand, a ton of curse words. All my teammates, when I'm done talking, are looking at me like, what the hell are you doing, bro?
Right.
Where did you just go?
Pin drop in the room.
Come back to Coach K, and this look in his face is like, how dare you talk to me that way? I had to face that reality for the next 2 weeks in practice where I got benched, I got put on the blue team, I got reamed out, and you know what I had to learn how to do? Take it.
Handle it.
Take it like a man and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to rechannel that energy, and I'm going to play my ass off every single day. Because now I've had to learn. It's a learning opportunity. I think for Gabe, that's a learning opportunity. And I think for Tom, when you have trust within your players, you're allowed to have confrontation like that. But you don't turn your back on your head coach who's been there for you every step of the way. That's disrespectful. And I like that Tom addressed it.
Yeah, and you know, others did too, including Draymond Green, well-known.
Tough love.
Yeah, exactly, Michigan State alum. He tweeted right after that, typical Michigan State exchange, move on. And in all caps, relax. Brandon Wood, who played on the same 2011-12 team that Draymond played on, also said it as well. He said, that's one of the parts of Izzo's coaching style I respected the most. Situation going into the tunnel was nothing. He said he allows his players to challenge him, and he's coming right back at you. And he said, I bet he was hype after all that.
How do you think Draymond Green signed a 5-year, $118 million contract? How do you think he got that? Right. I mean, obviously playing with Steph and Clay helps, but it's this mentality that got him there.
Yeah, it's having that experience. But, you know, people look at that, and I think right away the first thought, hands on a player, aggressive with a player, you know, is he's being abusive? We go back to Bob Knight and what we remember, some of those images of Bob Knight.
Hitting somebody on the chin is different than grabbing somebody's arm when they walk away from you. I want to make sure that we're very careful with the words that we decide to use. articulating what Tom Izzo did. Like, aggressively, that's not a word I would use. Abusively, that's not a word I would use for Tom Izzo. Grabbing a player's arm as he walks away from you disrespectfully while you're trying to talk about what wasn't executed, I don't find that being aggressive. I find that being, be respectful towards me, man. Like, if you can watch the tape, they're exchanging, and he's yelling at him. We're watching it right now.
That's
and
what
then he just yells
he's
at him
giving it right back to him.
And just walks away.
Yeah, and that's the key part. But look, like I said, you understand it. You lived it. I understand it for the most part as well. But there's a lot of people, because this will circulate like it did 2 years ago, and it'll circulate, and people will look at it and have a certain reaction to it because of the world we live in today.
Can I help you?
But it was important to explain it.
If you have a child, we all have kids.
Yeah.
If you have a kid who yells back at you like that as a parent and just walks away, woof. Like, for me, like, okay, I'm going to grab your arm, come back here, you're going to look me in the eye, and we're going to handle this like adults.
Right.
You're an adult, Gabe Brown. You know, we always refer to these players as kids. No, they're 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. They are young adults. We should handle it that way.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's also about handling controversy and confrontation as you're growing up.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.